welcome to the Healthy Conversation. We need a theme tune. We will be getting a theme tune.
Yeah.
It will be coming
with Abby and India.
Yep. I'm Abby.
I'm India.
And welcome. Our first topic of conversation. We was thinking, wondering, feeling, blah, 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 blah. And then we just decided, why not talk about...
What we are.
Yeah.
Females.
Yeah. What is it like being a woman?
Oh, there's many diversion you could go round that topic.
Yeah.
Many branches of that tree.
But at the moment, I mean, I think the biggest one on everyone's lips, minds, is that obviously the whole Me Too. The whole Me Too that's coming up, and how does that make you feel being a woman?
What do you mean? Me Too?
Yeah. So
what about me?
Yeah. What's happening? How does seeing all of these women step forward under the Me Too hashtag? How does that affect who you are as a woman? How does it make you feel being a woman? What's it creating? Because it's creating something.
It's creating something. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and I think a lot of us are generally a bit confused about what being a woman is about. I mean, I don't want to just slate all women out there, but we are living in a man's world, and we've lived in a man's world for such a long time. So when we're empowering ourselves, a lot of women try and fit into that man's world. But is that really being a woman?
Yeah.
Or is that really highlighting your masculine side to fit in?
Because I remember, this is going back years ago, but when I worked up in the West End in corporate, I remember a woman who was very high up within the company was pregnant, and she was giving this talk to us, and we didn't even know she was pregnant, and all of a sudden she came over all funny, but she kept on talking, she kept on going for about another 10 minutes, and eventually she said, I'm going to have to step down and let someone else take over because I'm actually pregnant and I'm not feeling so great. I was like, You've been stabbed.
Right.
Why? Why would you do that? It was just something that has always stuck with me.
Because it's seen as a weakness.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh no. Well, I have never been pregnant, so I don't know this, but I've seen my friends be pregnant and be scared to tell work because, and even one of my friends, it was actually a family member that was her boss, went nuts and almost said, well, why did you get the job if you knew you were going to get pregnant? She's like, I didn't.
Yeah.
But we're married. It's just one of those natural things.
Yeah.
So you've got that on top of, being a woman. Even other women slate you for being a woman. And, I've done it. Don't get me wrong. At my last job, there was a couple of girls that worked with me that had really bad period pain every month. But I was like, sure. You've worked every month. I'm just thinking, come on, come in. I've got period pain.
Yeah, no, I make you right.
But everything that we've learned about, your cycle and what your body is trying to tell you is your body's trying to rest. And then you rest and you get slated by other females for resting. And I was one of the ones that's slating. And I could really sort of notice how unsympathetic I am to women, and I think a lot of other women are the same.
Well, don't forget, right, really, they're just holding up a mirror to you and how you are reacting to yourself.
Yeah.
And talking about trying to fit in with the masculine, and again, it's this, for me, I love men. I have two of them, one very little one and one a little bit bigger than in my life, so this is not a slate to them, but the masculine energy side of things, when I used to work uptown in an office and I had my period and they were painful, I would make myself go for a run. Because I actually remember, it's so significant, oh my God, should I go for a run? And Googling, should you go for a run if you're in pain on your period? And I was like, down here. And I just saw these people go, yeah, I go. It makes me feel so much better.
They do say movement helps.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't. It really, going for a run did not help. It didn't change anything.
I suppose there's different types of movement, isn't there? There's that high intensity.
But a 5 mile run at lunch. Because what's actually happening is when you're experiencing pain, you are doing too much, your body needs you to relax. It's tension, right? There's tension there, so you've got to release the tension. How do you release the tension? You've got to soften, you've got to slow down, you've got to rest. We find that so hard as women. And that all ties into what you said about how you are encouraging that...
the masculine
world. We're fitting in with her.
You know, us women need to stick together, and we don't. We're not very sympathetic of each other. That I'm number one at it. I'm sure you have tendency to as well. But why is that? Because we are so used to being in a man's world. Men, like my partner, he wakes up at 5 a.m. No, like 4:45, and then he does work at home on his personal projects, and then he goes to work 9 to 5, and then he comes home, and then he does more work. I wake up later than him, and I do less amount of hours during the day, and I get more tired, and I'm like, why can't I do more? It frustrates me that I can't do more, that I don't have more energy. But then, is that just being a woman? Like, is that okay? Like, our hormones are completely different. You know, I am way more productive, but then I rest a lot. And then if you don't rest a lot, then your periods tell you to rest.
Yeah, it's a wild one. So how does it feel to be a woman? How does it feel? For me, it feels pretty empowering. I have always loved being a woman. I might joke every now and then about being a fella, but I love being a woman. I've always been so grateful for my menstrual cycle, because I did start late compared to everyone else. So there was always a sense of gratitude there for me that, yes, thank you. But I've always found it pretty empowering. I love being who I am. I love having this feminine body. I think we can do so much. We are so connected to our environment, which I find pretty empowering as well. And I find that when I'm not connected, just how uneasy I feel.
Yeah, completely.
You know, I love the fact that me and my son, we walked to school, and this morning was just phenomenal, because it was absolutely, everything was covered in frost. It was like a winter wonderland.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
And just to be able to walk out. It was amazing. And I respect that relationship now more. You know, it's always been there for me, but now I totally respect that relationship. And I understand how important it is to me in nurturing and creating a healthy, holistic being, which is myself, my whole entity. And I'm not just a physical, I am a mental, chemical, emotional, you know, there's so much there.
But then that's taken a lot of years of work for you to really, really understand yourself. Like, it doesn't come easily. Dishwasher.
It's the first one.
Here's the dishwasher beep.
Yeah. Beep, beep.
It will carry on. But a lot of women don't necessarily a lot of people, male and females, don't recognise when their bodies need help. And that's the one thing, our body always talks to us, you know. It gives us signals, whether it's your menstrual cycle and you're having serious pain, or you have serious low mood, or whether you get migraines, or I don't know, you've got a slight rash. That's your body talking to you. So what does that mean? And you know what? You always tell me. You always ask me. You always go, well, what is your body telling you? And I'm like, oh, good question. But you ask me every time, and it's almost like you've never ever asked me that ever, because it's such a basic question, but it really, really hits a nerve.
I think we've been conditioned to go straight for the larger answer. When in fact, how do you get to that bigger understanding? Well, it starts with the baby steps to it. And I think this is something that we've been working on a lot ourselves, isn't it? These baby steps towards...
And it is baby steps. Yeah, completely. You might go back a bit, but you're not going back, you're just revisiting certain topics that might not have been, you know, addressed the same. You know, there's still more that you need to talk about or think about or work out.
So, very recently, as in this week, it's been the beginning of my menstrual cycle, and because there's been so much going on, literally you know, in this physical world, lots to address. I haven't been able to drop into that quiet time, that rest, that inner winter, as the Red School calls it. And it's literally been, I felt like the ring trying to climb out of this hole of earth.
That hurt my nails.
Yeah, and it's felt frantic, and like my skin has felt like barbed wire trying to contain myself. That's the best way I can describe it. And then yesterday or the day before, when I just allowed everything to just come out, and I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed because I wasn't containing anymore, it just cleared, and I feel like I've put myself back together. Like I'm now coming back together again. I understand I'm in a better place, but this, you know, being part of your cycle and understanding that your cycle is so important. It's not just that you bleed, it is like, it's the whole month. You go through all of the seasons within your cycle, and it's so important to acknowledge that. And
but it's because it's a hot topic for us at the minute, menstrual cycles, which sounds bizarre because us women have a menstrual cycle, well, before menopause, even after menopause really, but just without the bleed. But the emotional cycle every month. But yet, because the cycle's slightly different and each part of the cycle is a different lesson, we don't actually see or recognise the signs that, or repetitions that are happening every month. Like, it is bizarre. We have the same thing happen every month, but yet we don't consciously recognise, that's because of my cycle. Because the last 2 months I've had really low moods with my cycle, really low, before the week before my period. And then I've been with people who are really overly happy and excited and full of beans, which is fantastic, but then it's really highlighting how bad I'm feeling, and it makes me feel even worse because I don't feel myself and I feel really down, and it's highlighting how I feel. But really, that's another thing society almost makes us not be okay with, is just being quiet. Like, it's okay to not want to talk, it's okay to not, why do we always want to be centre of attention the whole time? You want to know how many likes have you got, how many, you know, on social media, like, you know, posting everything out there, but it's okay not to be visible.
Yeah, that's how I felt this week. I've, you know, the guilt, what? Or this feeling of I should be posting, but I just didn't actually have anything. I just didn't want to be seen. I did not. That was it. I didn't want to be seen. I did not want to be seen. And after a while, it felt okay. It was like the nervous system was like, but. Oh, but nothing.
Yeah.
The world didn't end.
Yeah, it didn't end.
No.
And you get through it.
Yeah. So, like we've spoken about menstrual cycle awareness and feeling a woman, but how do you feel about the opposite sex? What's your perception of the opposite sex? Because again, we hear so much of, you know, I come back to the Me Too element, and you know, guys are getting a pretty hard time.
I love men, like without. Don't have to apologise for that. No, I do. Like, a lot of my friends are males. I love them. I love male company, and I think that stemmed back from when I was younger. I had a lot of issues with females. A lot of my friends, my girlfriends at the time, were really horrible to me. I got into fights with friends, like physical fights, crazy, and they you know were really quite nasty. So a lot of my friends from a young age have been males. Like, I do feel really, really safe with them. But at the same time, they can make me feel so uncomfortable and uneasy. Not my friends, but it's just different characteristics of the male, you know, sex, the male, you know, form, male energy.
See, I am being made aware now, and it's fascinating to see how I go into an old way of communicating with men, which is flirty banter. Flanter. Bit of flanter. That, I mean, back in the day, it was like literally, what's the comedy, you know, slap and Tickle no, it's called so, isn't it? Like, not slap and tickle, but
that sounds flirty, doesn't it?
But you know, it's all very flirty. Innuendos. I was just always on form with an innuendo. It was always there.
I've always been horrific at flirting.
I
can't do it.
It was like, yeah, bring it on. And I notice, you know, when I'm in a kind, especially in a corporate situation, which I was last night, there was this kind of flanter going on. That's how, you know, my communication with guys go back a long time ago was. And you know, I've got some friends who was exactly the same. If you wanted to get somewhere, flash it. You know, personally, I've never had an instance where in an office experience where I've ever felt that I was really taken advantage of, because, you know, I had chosen to be in that situation. I had created, I had been part of that creation of that experience. So, I've, you know, to me, I've never been offended by it.
No, and I think because I've had a lot of male friends, I get really into their banter. Like, I don't necessarily find it funny, but I'm used to them desexualising women, which it's not really...
No, it's not right.
Well, because there's pictures, the one's been taking up girls' skirts.
Yeah, it's just wrong.
That's just nuts.
It's just wrong, but, you know, if you caught them doing it, you break their camera, right?
I would.
But then I have to see that's my persona. So I have to understand that there are some women out there that don't have
that confidence
to do that,
or that reaction. You necessarily need confidence,
and especially if you're coming from a trigger of trauma and you're in that frozen state. So I totally understand, but
men.
It's not right. What I was going to say is it's not right.
Yeah.
To make a derogatory comment on the female form. Well, but what are we doing to stop that? So, you know, when your mates say this stuff, like, what are you saying?
Well, so I'm not going to say any names, but there is I know of this male group chat on WhatsApp, and the way that they speak about females on that is not okay. Okay. At all. And I say something to the person that is who I know is in that chat, but I know that he doesn't say anything, but he does say stuff that he might laugh at things, and I have to sometimes say that that's really not funny. And then he sort of takes a step back and he goes, no, I know, I see what you mean. Like, They take the mickey out of other girlfriends, what they look like, you know, their insecurities. They pick apart but this isn't. It's no offence to the female, because it's got nothing to do with the female. They're taking the piss out of the man who's in a relationship with that female, and they know that the man's going to get upset by it and retaliate, and that's all funny. That's what
they do, right?
That's all funny, and it's like, how is that funny? You're not even taking the piss out of the guy. You're taking the piss out of his girlfriend, who's done nothing wrong. And if she was to ever see any of this, it would crush any female to see that. I would not want to know if they said about me.
So I like the fact that you said something, because the way I see myself in this, I don't want to say defence of the feminine, but the uprising, the equality. This is what I want. I want equality on every level for everything. Is the fact that I can turn around and say, do you know what, I don't agree with that, I don't think that's right, blah, blah, blah. Not to remain a victim. I don't want women to keep remaining a victim in this.
Completely. And the thing is making people aware. You can't expect to change all of a sudden one day everyone to understand, forget about years and years and years of conditioning and then move on. Like, there needs to be some sort of awareness. People, you know, good people that I love and know and respect, do have some, you know, views that might be still quite warped, but it's because they've been brought up with those views. It doesn't necessarily mean it's their fault. We just got to educate them to be aware of how that actually, you know, how that actually is seen.
See, as well, what we've got to remember is, you know, when you are coming in with these debates, are you reacting emotionally to it, or are you conversing? Are you communicating effectively the change? This is the big thing. We need to be conversing the change we want, not like, how dare you, you know, because that's not going to change anything other than fuel the fire from the other side. This is what this, you know, for me, that your movements, the way you are articulating physically as well as verbally, they are equally important. Equally important.
Yeah.
So basically, now that I'm aware of like that flirty aspect of myself, I realise it comes a lot from father figure issues from back in my childhood. Attention. Which is all cool. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
How do you process that? Well, I'm processing it. So, you know, I'll let you know how it goes. But I find now that I'm not reacting as quickly to it, if that makes sense. So do you know what I mean?
Flirting.
Yeah.
You're not like,
Yeah. So I'm watching. It's almost like I'm watching the child doing her thing. Like but I won't take action upon what I would usually do. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
But I don't see you necessarily as a flirty person. Like no. I think your flirtiness is non-offensive, or even taken as she's hitting on me. Yeah. If you know what I mean. Yeah. It's just like, I suppose it's very subtle, and it's just like, you know. Whereas some friends I know that are like so extra with men. I mean, it's uncomfortable. It got to the point with my past boyfriends that I would actually feel uncomfortable introducing them because they would be so full on, and that definitely stemmed down from not having the attention from their fathers. And so you can understand why, but then I suppose why. This is the weird thing. So you don't have attention from your father, which can be really traumatizing. But then you develop into wanting to get attention from men. So you desexualize yourself. Is that the right, desexualize? We're saying that right?
What
They're sexualizing themselves to get attention from men because they didn't get it from their fathers.
Yeah.
But then it's just getting attention, isn't it? You just think, well, would you want your father to be flirting with you?
Yeah.
No.
But it's that whole male, it's the masculine energy again, isn't it?
It's the energy.
It's bizarre.
How can I get their attention?
Yeah. I'm over here.
Yeah. And but one of my other friends, she was very subtly flirty. She's beautiful, but she was quite confident. I mean, we all have our own insecurities, but we always used to go out, but she used to always get male attention. I never got male attention, and it really got to me because I was single at the time, and I said, what's wrong with me? But generally, it is in your energy. Like, she was very sexual. The way she walked, like, she looked in people's eyes. She looked into the guy's eyes. She would eye someone up. I would be like, oh my gosh, there's people, there's men, and just sort of keep my head down. So who do you think was going to have, someone come up to them? Definitely not me, because I was so closed.
Yeah, fascinating. It's fascinating how we, what we want, how we get it.
Yeah.
Our actions.
And not understanding why we don't get it.
Yeah, and it's true, isn't it? Right? When I say the actions speak louder than words, they so do. Because you just can't make sense of it, can you, sometimes? Like, why is this happening? Because my body's going, oh.
Yeah, exactly. My body's going, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, moving on from that, we was discussing as well, what are the top women's health concerns? Like, what concerns you? I mean, for me personally, it's all about menstrual health. My mind, my focus is there. I feel that affects everything when I'm not paying attention, when I'm not nurturing and supporting my menstrual cycle. But we did also look up as well, and there was breast cancer, osteoporosis, depression, and autoimmune disease. I mean, I find autoimmune disease a fascinating disease.
I can talk about that for hours.
Mm-hmm.
Medical medium, look him up.
Yeah. He's got really medium, fascinating points on that.
Which is very different to what the doctor's saying, but it makes sense. Completely.
Enlighten. Just a couple. So
the autoimmune disease of your body, your body's attacking your body. Medical medium describes, well, our bodies are so clever, that we can heal itself. When we were, our bodies have evolution. Why would our bodies just suddenly attack itself?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
No.
So, what is it that the body's doing? What's happening? And the medical medium explains that Epstein-Barr virus, that, I won't go off, it's a completely different topic. I'll open up a whole load of debates, but go and check out his books, because he's got a lot of information about Epstein-Barr virus on there, and exactly what it does to your body. When you've got a virus, the body's actually trying to protect itself from the virus. Hence, the one thing that comes to mind is what do you call it when your joints?
Arthritis.
Arthritis. Your joints are swelled, painful. Whereas the Epstein-Barr virus is in your joints, attacking the joints, so your body's actually protecting itself by padding it out. But that's veering off onto another topic.
But these women's health concerns, where does it all come from?
Well, actually, this just remembered. Where did I read it? I can't remember. So back in the day, probably about the 70s, this is when the autoimmune disease started. Females were getting it, and the doctors didn't take them seriously. Like Lyme disease, doctors weren't listening to them. They had nothing. The doctors were testing them left, right, and centre. They couldn't find one little bit. Then the men started to have it, and that's when
I remember
they put a label on it.
Yeah.
But they still don't know what it is.
Wasn't it that they used to think that women were just mad?
Mad, yeah, and making it up.
Yeah.
Just
Is it the housewife syndrome or something?
Yeah. And then it wasn't until the males started to feel the same symptoms that they were like, okay, it must be serious.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is, but just put a name on it.
You can't be suffering.
Your body is attacking itself, and that's all we can.
But I feel that a lot of our female complaints come from a space of not living and from a place of honesty and connection.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that. Because I remember when I was working up in the West End, and I was desperate to leave and start working for myself, but so you can't leave, you've got a mortgage, and there's so many people out there in the same boat, I know, and I was so unhappy. And I remember I started seeing a counsellor because I broke down and I couldn't stop crying one day. I could not stop crying, and I just didn't feel like I had any support. But obviously, because I was literally pulling the roots up from the ground beneath me and containing myself to do what I thought was right and to be a good girl,
Oh, that phrase winds me up.
So to pull your roots up, this is all like psychology of our first energy centre within the body. Uprooted, not connected, no foundation, no support. I was an island, it was all there. And that was one of my biggest transformations, really. It was either I was drinking so much as well. It's literally, I'm so unhappy, it's like and then something just clicked. It had to. It's either right, you leave now, or you just ruin everything.
Ruin your life.
You just ruin everything.
Well, health, ruin your health, damage your health.
Yeah. So you can see, how we can allow our life to chronically affect us, our lifestyle, and lifestyle really is all a choice.
It's all a choice.
It's all a choice. Whether you think you have no choice or not, you do, because you chose in very small increments to get to this point that you're at now.
Yeah.
It won't be easy to unchoose it, but you do have a choice. And I think perhaps that could be the topic of our next conversation: the power of choice.
The power of choice. A lot of people don't recognised, is it, that it's not my fault, I don't have enough money, or what are you spending your money on? Because like, okay, so if you are literally just spending your money on food and rent and that's it, then I get you know, that's your choice because you want to live, but you actually there's still a choice though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then if you're going out, there's enough people buying lunch, weren't they? In this city, everyone buying lunch every day. How much money is that? That's ridiculous.
Well, you're talking about £10, I think.
And for to come into a holistic therapist, they're like, oh, we haven't got the money. Well, that's fine, because you're choosing not to have the money because you're choosing to spend your money elsewhere, which is 100% okay, but you're not quite ready to take on your health yet, are you? If you're not willing to put your money into your life, into what's going to make you live longer, happier.
Topic of next conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in. Any questions, please reach out. We'd love to connect with you. We'd love to answer any questions you have. So please get in contact via the information below on YouTube.
Yeah. Like,
and
comment.
Yeah. This is Abby.
This is India
from The Healthy Conversation.